Apology of Socrates was translated by Benjamin Jowett into English. So let's discuss the Apology of Socrates by Plato. Before going into detail of the text, let's know about the author, Plato, 427 to 347 BCE. And Plato was a student of Socrates and he was the teacher of Aristotle. So what's the apology? So it's not an apology in the modern sense. So apologia means defense a speech. So it's not a regret. Okay, it's defense speech. Okay, remember this. So this defense speech by Socrates given at the trial in Athens. So Socrates is on trial in 399 BC. So this text written by Plato was translated to English by Benjamin Jowett. Benjamin Jowett was a British classical scholar. Socrates was an Athenian philosopher, 469 to 399 BCE, and he was well known for Socratic method, questioning, inquiry, and he challenged traditional beliefs in the society. He encouraged people, Athenian people, to question the authorities, and he encouraged them to seek truth and wisdom. So that is Socratic method. And he didn't write any text in his lifetime, and the available text is known through Plato and Xenophon. So the Plato and Xenophon were students of Socrates, and is Socrates questioning the authority and encouraging the people to question the officials and uh, encouraging them to seek truth, annoyed many Athenians in the city. Let's see historical context of the apology of Socrates. So the trial was in 399 BCE, and the place was Athens in ancient Greece, and the event was a trial of Socrates, and charges against Socrates were two main charges against Socrates. They were corrupting the youth and impiety. And what was the outcome of the trial? Socrates was sentenced to a death by drinking hemlock. What are the characters in the text? Socrates, he was a main speaker, defendant, and Meletus, Anytus, Lycon. These three people were the three main accusers who framed charges against Socrates. So Meletus was a chief accuser, and Anytus was a politician, and Lycon was an orator. Athenian jury. So there were 500 citizen jurors, and they hear the speech of Socrates and decide whether he is guilty or not. Shafara, Sharaphon was a Socrates' friend, and he consulted a Delphic oracle, and he reported that none was wiser than Socrates. Socrates was the wisest man, and that was declared by oracle at Delphi. And Plato was a silent observer, and he was a student of Socrates, and he recorded the speech given by Socrates during the trial. Socrates answers old accusations before going to uh, defend himself against two main accusations or two main charges against him. So let's see what are old accusations. So, natural philosopher, he was accused of being a natural philosopher who tried to explain the world by science rather than by gods. So, this was an old accusation, and he wanted to defend and answer this. So, he defended that he explained that he was not interested in any theory or physical sciences about the cosmos. Instead, he wanted to focus on moral questions, justice, virtue, and goodness, and also how to live to a good life. So he focused on these things, not on science or theories. Then the second next old accusation, sophist. He was blamed for being a sophist. Sophist is a paid teacher, paid philosopher. Here he defended himself that he was not a sophist because he never charged money for his teachings, and he, unlike sophist, he never uh, taken money for his teaching from the people. And also, he only asked questions to seek truth. And he encouraged the people of Athens to question and self examine themselves to seek truth and wisdom. Next, so the charges against Socrates. So there were two main official charges against Socrates. They were corrupting the youth and impiety. So he was uh, blamed for corrupting the youth of Athens. So he was leading young Athenians astray through his inquiry and philosophy. He was leading young Athenians in the wrong direction, and he was taking away from the right path through his teachings and his philosophy and his questioning method. So many Athenians thought that he was spoiling the youth. So that was a charge, an official charge against Socrates. So Socrates defended himself uh, that he never corrupted anyone knowingly, never corrupted anyone knowingly, and if he did so unknowingly, he should be corrected but not punished. So, right. So next, impiety. Impiety means lack of respect towards gods or religion, lack of reverence of gods, and not believing gods and religion. So here, that Socrates, Meletus accused him that he was introducing new gods in Athens city, and he was not accepting the Athens city's gods. So this was accusation made by Meletus and his supporters. So to defend Socrates' defense was that he was, he got a spiritual voice. That voice was guiding him, and he says that he was not, Socrates is not an atheist. So he believes in spiritual beings and also believe in divine powers. So what was his mission? His mission from Apollo's oracle also shows his faith in gods. So Meletus accuses both atheism and belief in new spiritual beings, and this belief in spiritual agencies implies belief in divinities. Oracle at Delphi, the Delphic oracle. So oracle means in ancient Greece a female priest who gave people wise advice from God, God Apollo. So Delphi is a holy place in an ancient Greek on Mount Parasus, where an oracle, a female priest, was believed to be able to answer questions with advice from the god Apollo. So, after knowing that, oracle declared that the Socrates was the wisest man in the city. So Socrates puzzled at the declaration, and he wanted to test the oracle at Delphi. So he questioned people in the city, reputed wise people in the city, questioned politicians, poets, and craftsmen. So he found that though they had skills or fame, they lacked true wisdom because they thought they knew what they didn't. So they claim the false knowledge, though they are excellent and they had excellent skills in their fields. They claim false knowledge they didn't possess. And here Socrates claims that his wisdom lies in knowing his own ignorance. So here Socrates recognized his own ignorance. So he never agrees that he was a wise man. Unlike others who thought that they knew everything and they were wise men. Here, according to the oracle, true wisdom is knowing the limits of one's knowledge. So that's why Oracle at Delphi announced Socrates was the wisest man. And Socrates questioned others who falsely think they are wise. So let's see the mission of Socrates. So what was his life mission? His life mission was to expose false knowledge and encourage people to seek a true wisdom. And he encouraged people to uh, seek a truth and encourage them and push them to question authorities in the city. And he compares himself to a gadfly. So gadfly is a fly which bites horses and cows or livestock. So that irritates and the horses or cows immediately move. So that's why he compares Socrates himself to a gadfly because his role was to stir Athens into self-examination, and his main aim was to make them move and make them question and also make them to self-examine. So his civic duty was to challenge complacency and also push people to think about justice, truth, and so verdict and sentence. So verdict, the 500 citizen jurors found Socrates guilty and majority vote against Socrates. And he addressed those who voted against him and also those who supported. And he asked his followers to take care of his sons. And if his sons did anything wrong or didn't follow morals, they criticize his sons and also try to may put them in a right path as he did to others. And at last, ultimately, sentence. And he was sentenced to death by drinking poisonous hemlock. So these were the powerful quotes from the text. The unexamined life is not worth living. And here the Socrates in his speech urges the people of Athens to examine themselves. So self-examination. And I know that I know nothing. So this is the oracle declared Socrates as the wisest man because he said that there were the limits of knowledge and he didn't accept that he was a wise man. I know that I know nothing. No evil can happen to a good man either in life or after death. So these are the powerful. So apology, it's a don't take modern meaning, and its meaning is a defense speech, not regret. Okay. Oracle at Delphi. So Oracle, she was a priest, a woman priest who declared Socrates wisest. Sophist. Sophist is a paid philosopher or a teacher of rhetoric for pay. Impiety. So this was the second accusation against Socrates, second charge. So lack of reverence for gods, lack of respect towards religion or God, not believing religion, not following religion. Hemlock. Hemlock was a poison used for execution. He was sentenced to death by drinking poison hemlock.